Hey, welcome back. It's Monday. I hope you had a great spring break. All of you parents that had kids in school and maybe got to spend some time with them right out of Easter and into spring break. I know mine was off and spent a little bit of time at the pool, but it was still a little bit chilly. We're back this week. We were at work last week, but I've got one case to report to you. We're not in court this week. We'll be in court in Georgetown and in Horry next week. Next week was supposed to be the police officer shooting case, Dollard in Georgetown, but that case got continued. The judge continued it at the defense attorney's request. So we've got a murder case starting in Georgetown, and our case in Horry, it was to start off as a murder, but that ended up pleading too, so it'll probably go on down the list next week. But here's one that we put up on our webpage, but we didn't speak about it because the press release came in a little bit late. But last time we were in court, it was started off as a murder case, ended up pleading guilty to manslaughter. It was a 2022 case where a man from Massachusetts passed away. Christopher Lee Perry, 43, pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. Delbert Leisure, he's an assistant solicitor here in Horry County. He presented the case. The judge was Judge Nettles, and Judge Nettles sentenced Perry to 20 years in prison. You might remember this back from October of 2022. There was an argument between Perry and the victim, Brian Edward DeRost. Brian was 45 years old. Both were homeless. Mr. DeRost was from Massachusetts. Myrtle Beach Police worked the case. It took place at about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning in a grassy area behind on Highway 501 behind that food line in Myrtle Beach. We did have an autopsy that showed some blunt force trauma. It appeared that Mr. Duros was beaten by Mr. Perry with the wood pallet and died as a result of the blunt force trauma. Obviously, all of these murder cases can have twists and turns, but when one happens, and I tell you all the time that if you are in Myrtle Beach and just like last Saturday night we had that shooting downtown Myrtle Beach, everything's on camera. I mean, they've got different angles. Usually it's pretty close-up shot. Well, this case took place in the woods, that homeless camp behind the food line, where the food line used to be around across the road from Allen's Food Basket. When that takes place and you've got a really transient population of other homeless people in the area, but none of them really coming forward, that presents certain problems also. So, not making excuses, but every case is different, and it would be short-sighted of me to say, like I've done plenty of times, but that every case, everything is caught on camera in Myrtle Beach. If it happens in the woods at a homeless camp, it's probably not. So we don't have to have it caught on camera, but you do have a hard time chasing down and keeping up with those witnesses that may have seen or heard something. In this case, very few of them saw anything, and then the ones that did, you would have a hard time chasing them down and presenting them at trial. And a defendant, whether he's homeless or not, whether he's a local or visiting, all defendants have the right to confront their people that are testifying against them. So another myth buster that we hear all the time is, well, I've already given my statement to the police. Because of the Sixth Amendment, to be able to testify, you've got to be able to come into court and tell that story again, because the defense attorney and the defendant have the right to cross-examine you. So a judge won't allow you to bring in a piece of paper even if it's notarized. That doesn't matter. Sometimes you can do that in civil court. If you have a doctor or expert, you may be able to use out of court statements from a deposition in a civil case, but not in a criminal case. It's very rare. So we have to be able to bring those people in and testify. The case that we had, one of the last murders that we tried, where the shooters were from Florence, the targets were from Florence, and the young man that had nothing to do with it but ended up being the decedent, he was from Florence. That was a myth that we kept coming up against, and people saying, I'm not going to testify. I've already given my statement to the police. I'm not coming back. I'm not, we've got open warrants on some of those people that just would not come in and testify. Well, they're going to be arrested and they're going to be held. We went through the case without them, but it certainly had an effect on the case. So that's a part of it. These witnesses have to come forward, and if they don't come forward, it don't matter how many times they've told the story in the past. So we'll be back again next Monday. Next Monday we'll be, starting trials in both counties, and if you have any topics that you want to discuss, put them in the comment section and we'll try to get to them. But there won't be any cases between now and next Monday.